Today I'm going to challenge myself to finish this Impressionist abstract painting. Here's where it started. So this was the first video that I did, and I'll put the link for that in the description below if you want to see it when it first began. And now it's here and I'm going to see if I can finish it today. So you need to stay with me to see what happens at the end. You never know what might change. You know, painting a large abstract impressionist painting is something that you should really challenge yourself to do. It's so exciting and liberating. It frees you up. You know, quite a few people are a bit frightened of going onto a big canvas. But actually, you know what? When you get to use big brushes and tools and you can just use your whole body to paint, it's really amazing what will happen. But, you know, the challenge then is what to do with it once you've played and you've had fun with it and it's got covered in paint and all different mishes and mashes. What do you do? And now I've got to start structuring it, making some composition, looking at the colour values and the tone values, the lights and the darks and the different shapes. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to unfold. But you could do the same, you know, challenge yourself to do a big painting, and you can put on it as many layers as you like. Even though you might feel a bit, being trepidation to begin, just go for it, because you'll find that as you get into the zone, something takes over and you can just really start creating something that's exciting and interesting for you. So I think we better get started, and if you enjoy this video, do give me the thumbs up and subscribe, because I'm always doing sort of series of paintings and, you know, helping you develop your paintings as we go. So I'm going to get my paints ready and we'll make a start. So a few people in the comments last week asked me what the colours I was using and what brushes. And I went through some of the brushes, but I've got a series of flat brushes here and then some bigger ones, which is great. And these are all flat brushes, which I love using. I've got a roller. Again, I might not use it at this stage, but it's great for when you begin. And I've got some scrapers, some different sizes, and some little ones that I've got of old credit cards, and a lovely silicone one here. And then these are all the different colours. I've been using, you know, a nice selection of colours maybe that I don't use a great deal of. These are Amsterdam paints, and they have a fabulous colour range. So I've got some orange, purple, green. I've also got in Vallejo some yellow. This is cadmium yellow. This is phthalo blue and beautiful teal colour. And then I've also got some fluorescent colours. This is a Liquitex fluorescent green, which I want to try. I'm into my greens this week, as you can tell with what I had, what got on today. And this is a fluorescent red. And I love mixing these with normal green or normal red because it gives the colour a massive amount of vibrancy. And so those are the colours, and obviously black and white. And I might use some medium, some pouring medium. I'm not going to talk a lot about mediums today, but I'll do another video on that another time. But you can mix the mediums like you would mix the paint with water, and you can get some different effects. I've also got some clear gesso. Now, using clear gesso can be really advantageous if you've got a lot of layers on your painting and you want to do another layer. If you put a clear gesso on, it makes the colours very much more vibrant. They don't kind of go into the colours underneath. You're giving it sort of like a film over the top. so your colours are fresh on top. So I use clear gesso quite a lot when I'm doing a multitude of layers. And then I have some satin medium fluid, satin fluid medium. And again, I can put that over the paint as I go to give it a nice kind of texture to the painting. So if I use them when I'm painting, I'll tell you. And I think I mentioned I've got black and white. Oh, and I've got also here a big Vallejo. I'm not sure if you can get Vallejo in the States. I don't know, but certainly in Spain, it's very popular. So that's a cadmium red. And this one is a primary blue. So a lot of different colours. And you know, fun to use. I'm using quite a lot, and if I want to mix a lot for the bigger brushes, then I've got some paper plates, and then these are lids off my yogurt. But they make great mixing palettes, and I use those quite a lot. When I finish them, I just clean them and use them again. So they're really useful to have. And obviously lots of kitchen roll and my rags, and I think that's about it. So I've got them all out on my palette. So let's make a start. I forgot to mention I've got a couple of palette knives, and I will be using those as well. So I hope you can see this okay. I wanted to try and get it at an angle where you can actually see what I'm doing. At the end of last week, I actually used some charcoal and put in these shapes of the figures with the charcoal, and you can seal the charcoal with some fixer, but I just have some hair lacquer, which works fine, and I'm painting over it anyway, so you can use hair lacquer, which is great. So I'm going to kind of go with these figures as they are. I feel that I'd like to take this green over here and then lighten it up, and then I want to put some blue on here. That's how I feel at the moment. But you know, you want to get back in the zone and you know, reconnect when you're coming back to a painting. You want to kind of feel as if you're back involved with it, and it takes a little bit of time to get back in that space. So you know, there are various things that you can do to do that. Sometimes I put some music on. I will just do a little bit of drawing over the top. For me, just kind of moving into it, blocking out everything else that's going on around me, which is one of the things that I really love about painting. You know, you just get in that space and off you go. So having got myself in there, in that lovely, you know, energy space for the painting, then you can start. So I'm just putting some different greens on the palette knife, and I'm going to start up here. And so I've speeded the video up a little because we don't want to be here for 2 days, and you know, it's such a process. It's a wonderful process, and I really enjoy it, but you don't want to see, I'm sure, every brush stroke that I make. So yeah, you can sort of see the process. I'm using, you know, the different tools, palette knife, scraper, you know, different brushes, and really using quite thick paint to get these different effects. And it really kind of starts to build up the layers and, you know, take the painting to the next space. And it's kind of very interesting to constantly work on a painting for a while. And I think one of the biggest frustrations for many artists is sort of getting stuck in the middle of a painting, you know, unsure
of how to move forward, or feeling like we've lost our momentum. So, this is why it's important to really get into the zone each time. And, if you'd seen the first video on this painting, I really kind of went for it and wanted to get rid of a lot of tension and angst. And the painting has changed so dramatically. So when you come back to it, you might have a whole different feel to when you started it, which is absolutely fine. But if you've got your intention, I had an intention on this to just allow whatever was going to happen. I do have this intuitive approach to painting, not having an end in mind and not worrying, when it's finished or not finished. And I think this is really important to think about. It goes through all these different stages. And, you might feel that you might be afraid of making a mistake or ruining the entire piece. So, you put the brush down and you walk away and leaving the canvas unfinished. And you don't need to think about it like that. Think about it as a process. Sometimes, if we're struggling to overcome those creative blocks and feeling like you've lost your inspiration or your direction, you want to just relax, meditate, go for a walk, feel how you felt when you first started. Watch something inspiring on YouTube to get you back in that space of motivation. And, to overcome some of these struggles and, finally finish our painting. And really that's what I'm exploring today, is you will see it go through all these different processes and change. And that's how I feel as I come back to the painting, where I feel that it's going. And if I stay with that, then it can't really go wrong. And the same thing applies to you. If you stay with that feeling, it absolutely can't go wrong. It just goes in perhaps a direction that you weren't expecting it to go, which is absolutely fine. I mean, when I think about how many layers there are on this painting, there's a tremendous amount. And as I was talking to you at the beginning, I've put a layer of gesso over it, so my colours stay really fresh. And let it dry, leave it overnight, come back to it, have a think about it, and slowly but surely it starts to come. And then it gets to the point where we start looking at our tone values and our lights and our darks, our focal points, where the eye is going, and looking to see where that works. But that doesn't really come till later on in the painting, as you'll see with this. I have to get to a point where I think, okay, now I've got to really start looking at it from a perspective and the tones of colour and how my eye is going around the painting. So that doesn't come until you're on your last layer, really. And looking at all the different ways that you might be using your brush or your scraper, your palette knife, or the different tools that you have, the different ways to use them and experiment. They can go in all different directions. You can use different brushes. I'm very keen, as you probably know, because you've seen some of my videos maybe before, that I love using flat brushes. But you've got a filbert brush, which is a nice curved edge, and you've got round brushes. You've got all kinds of different brushes that you can try and use them in different ways. Experiment, and you can do this very much in your sketchbook and have a lot of fun to discover all the different things that you can do with your brush. And I cover, some of these exciting, interesting ways of painting in my free mini course, which is 5 really great lessons to absolutely get you started on looking at abstract painting and feeling confident about how you're starting a painting and where you can take it to. So I've put the description of that in the information below, and go and check it out, because you might find that really helpful. And I do a lot of different courses and other free courses. I've got a free Taster Art Connection course that's really all about finding your intuition and how to tap into your intuition and work from really a spiritual approach to painting, and go forward with it in that way. See, my approach about painting is to express our emotions. What are we painting for? We're painting to have satisfaction and to express ourselves. And that's how we find our style, our way of painting. And I talk about this a lot when I'm doing my videos, is that we're painting a story about ourselves. And if we really tune into that intuitively, we find our own way of painting because we're telling our own story. And I very much address this with by the Art Connection Taster course, and then I've actually got a 4-week immersive course on this same subject, the Ultimate Art Connection course, where we discover how to really paint from our emotions and how we feel and what's wanting to express itself. And when I look at this painting and this series of paintings that I've been doing, I think this is my 6th one in the series. When I've completed them, I'm going to put them together all in a video, but they're all on figures telling a story. Now, I wonder what you get from looking at this painting. How do you feel about it? When I look at it, I can very much see an emotional situation that's going on with me or has gone on with me in the past. And it's fascinating that it's now expressing itself with my painting. And every one that I'm doing at the moment, my intuitive paintings, all coming out with figures. And I'm noticing that obviously as a theme. And it would be interesting to see and discover what your theme is, what tends to come out with you if you're just, playing and experimenting and doing your painting intuitively. First of all, what colors seem to want to be painted out? What shapes are coming up? What does it feel to you? And all these questions add to the interest of your painting. And other people who are going through similar situations resonate with it, and you have some real feeling of authenticity, and for that you have your own style. There's so many videos talking about how to find your own style. I feel that your own style finds you if you're willing to allow it and give yourself permission to find it. And how do you do that? Well, a lot of practice, doing a lot of play painting, see what naturally wants to come when you're working, what colors naturally want to come, and then ask yourself the question, why this color? What is it that I love or don't love about this color? And if you kind of really do a deep dive, if you like, into yourself to discover, first of all, why you want to be painting, what it is that you want to express, and what story wants to be told. And as you go forward, that starts to unfold and develop. and become really exciting. So my story at the moment that wants to be told are all these different relationships that I have, different feelings about. And I find it fascinating when I'm painting like this to what happens. And, I got divorced when I was, how old was I? 36, which is a very long time ago now. And my son at the time was, I think he was about 8 or 9. So, it was very traumatic situation and very difficult time to go through. It's very sadly. And, it's taken me a long time to think about it in more of a interesting and reflective way. I've healed from it, years ago, but still emotionally it was sort of sitting there. And all these paintings that I'm doing all seem to have some reflection of that situation all those years ago, which really surprises me. So I've kind of let you into a little secret there. And the challenges, that my son went through at the time, which now we talk about and can discuss, but I didn't realize at the time. So it's a fascinating process once you really delve into that emotional feeling and those emotions inside you and what they want to paint out. So interesting to see this happening with this series of paintings that I'm doing. They've all got, more or less, all of them have got 3 figures in them, which is a woman, a man, and a child. So I think that might be telling you something. But it would be very interesting to hear what your take on it, because that's my story. But what story does it tell you? I asked a girlfriend this morning when she was having a look at it, and she said she saw, 3 people looking out onto a field. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting. So what do you see in it? Let me know in the comments. It would be really fascinating to get your take on how you feel about this dynamic of this picture. So I'm nearly getting there now. It's making progress. There's obviously a structure to it now. I still think there's quite a bit to do, but I will probably leave it after I finish this section on this video, leave it for a bit and come back and add some finishing touches. But when I think about where it started and the energy that I had at the beginning to what has happened to it now, it's really quite a dramatic change, isn't it? So you just never know what is going to happen.
So I would say I'm nearly finished now with this painting. It's been, a few days, and I've been working on it, looking at it and then going to bed, sleeping on it, thinking about it, coming back the next day. And I think I'm just about there. There are a few other tiny bits that I'd like to do. And it's been a very interesting project to see, where it's come from to now and the story it tells. And, I feel that, when you're doing this yourself, when you experiment with this and discover this for yourself, the thing kind of unfolds. It's very exciting. So I want to just zoom in and you can have a look at some of the close-ups on it. So I'm going to show you a few close-ups of the texture, and you can still see, some of the layers from underneath, and it gives the painting, some depth and, a history, as we were talking about before. And I've drawn into it a little, just sort of done a few kind of scribbles on top, you can see here. I've done some in white and I've done some in orange, and the background here at the top, I've done again a few little scribbles, but it just kind of gives you an idea of, building up the depth through the layers and how interesting it can become. So if you've enjoyed the video, do give me the thumbs up and subscribe, because I've got lots of videos to come. I'm nearly on 10,000 subscribers, so you could help that happen, which would be fantastic. Thank you very much. And do leave me the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and if you've got any questions, as I said before, do ask me. And I will look forward to seeing you next time with another exciting project. So have a great week. Thanks for watching. Lots of love. Bye for now.